Hi, I'm Rabbi Sharon Cohen Anisfeld, the president of Hebrew College. You may have noticed, as I have, that there has been a lot of talk lately about silver linings. It makes sense. It's an expression that speaks to something that I think so many of us are feeling very deeply right now, which is the importance of seeking out and finding and creating space for gratitude. Creating space for moments of genuine thankfulness in our daily lives, for our daily lives, even in the midst of this difficult and unsettling time. And as important as this is, I also want to confess that I occasionally find myself bristling a little against the language of silver linings. When that language feels a little bit too forced or a little too rushed, or feels like somehow it's being used as a thinly veiled rebuke, silencing our need to talk about what's hard and to talk about the sometimes painful truths of our lives. So I was comforted when I stumbled this week upon a midrash from Vayikra Rabbah that offers perhaps a related but different image. It's a midrash on this week's Torah portion, Parashat Emor, and specifically on the verse in Emor that describes the holiday, the sacred holiday that is to be observed on the first day of the 7th month. That's to be commemorated with complete rest and with loud blasts. This holiday is, of course, the day that later comes to be called Rosh Hashanah, and the blasts are the sound of the shofar, the call of the ram's horn. In commenting on this day of blasts, on this Yom Truah, as the Torah calls it, the Midrash from Vayikra Rabbah takes us all the way back to another verse from the book of Genesis, a verse from deep in the story of the binding of Isaac, of Akedat Yitzchak, that we read on Rosh Hashanah. And it takes us specifically to the moment in the story when it seems like Abraham has run out of options. He and Isaac have journeyed to Mount Moriah. They have climbed the mountain. They have carried the wood. They have built the altar. And Abraham is finally preparing to fulfill the terrible, mysterious command to offer his beloved son Isaac as a sacrifice. And in that moment, the Torah tells us that suddenly Abraham lifted his eyes. Vayisa Abraham et einav vayar v'hinei ayil. He lifted his eyes and he looked, he saw, and behold, there was a ram caught in the thicket by its horns. So in the Midrash, it goes on to ask, what is it that we're supposed to understand from this image? What is it that the ram is coming to teach Abraham? And the Midrash says that the Holy Blessed One shows Abraham the ram struggling, entangled in the thicket, to teach him two truths about the lives of his descendants, two truths about our lives. The first truth is the obvious one, that there will be times that we are caught in the thicket of our own lives, that we are entangled in the thicket of our failings and of our sorrows. But there's a second truth that the ram comes to teach as well, and that is the truth of Geulah. That's the truth of redemption and of hope. Because it's the same ram that gives its horn to become the shofar, which is the symbol of and the call to redemption. It's the call that summons us to hope and to the possibility of possibility if we, like Abraham, can open our eyes, can lift our eyes and see. What I love about this midrash, what strikes me about this midrash, is the way that it reminds us that when we are looking for hope, we don't need to look somewhere other than our own lives. In fact, we can't look somewhere other than our own lives. It's right there in the same thicket, caught on the same branches, and calling out to us from the horn of that same ram, calling out to us not with any clear answers, but just with a question, an enduring question. Look at the thicket of your own life. What possibilities are there that you haven't seen yet? It turns out that that the phrase silver linings also comes originally in the form of a question. And it's a question articulated centuries later by the poet John Milton in 1634, when he wrote this: "Was I deceived, or did a sable cloud turn forth her silver lining on the night?" So my wish, my bracha, my blessing for us is that we can continue to hear these questions. We can continue to hear the question calling out to us, whether it's with a loud blast or a quiet whisper or silently, wordlessly, with no sound at all, asking us what possibilities are right there in the thicket of your own life. What hints of light are shimmering at the edge of the clouds in the night sky? What possibilities are there waiting for us to lift up our eyes and to see?